Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be going over some trade signings this half season, just because I wanted to do this video. So yeah, I'm going to go Russell Wilson to the Browns, because Wilson and the Seahawks relationship is kind of done, and the Browns need a good QB, so I just think the Browns will give up 2 firsts and Baker. I think that kind of get the deal done. And Browns can kind of just contend again for a ring, as I just think they're QB away from being a contending team. And I think Russell Wilson could really just make that happen and make him a true contender. So, yeah. And the Browns would obviously need to get receivers, though. But they got the line and the running backs, so, yeah. Second one, I got Derwin James going to the Dolphins. Derwin could just play great for the Dolphins. They just need a pure safety in that secondary to have an unstoppable defense that teams are just scared to play against. The Dolphins would probably need to give up 1 first in 2023 and a second round pick in 2023, which is actually a decent amount of draft capital, but when you're getting a bona fide stud safety, I think you're willing to give that up for a guy like James, who's kind of a hybrid safety. He can be good at run support and coverage. Only thing is that his, what am I trying to say? He has injury issues, so gonna have to deal with that. I got Laviska Shenault going to the Washington Commanders. Shenault would just be a good addition to the Commanders, as they kind of need a new receiver to complement Terry McLaurin. I mean, I think the Commanders only have to give up like Curtis Samuel. And Samuel is a do-it-all player that could just be good for the Jags, and he could play running back for them eventually if they really needed him to. But Laviska Shenault would just be a great player for the Commanders, and got their new jerseys down there. Really like them, actually, pretty nice. But yeah. I'm at DJ Humphries from Arizona for Mike Hilton and Jermaine Pratt from Cincinnati. This could be a good move for the Cardinals, as they kind of need to improve their defense as a whole, and Hilton and Pratt would really do that. And the only downside of this trade is that the Cardinals lose their best tackle on the team, but they clear a lot of cap space, so I think this is kind of fine for the Cardinals, as Hilton was a great slot corner this year for the Bengals, and Jermaine Pratt had a clutch interception in the playoffs, and I think, the Cardinals defense just needs experience out there, so, yeah. And I got Christian Kirk going to the Colts, and I think Christian Kirk would really play well for the Colts, and I think the Colts are willing to pay a premium for him. I think they'll give him a 4-year, $50 million contract, which would be an average $12.5 million per year. And Kirk has kind of made it clear that he's an elite receiver, which is obviously a good thing, but especially for him, as now he can leave the Cardinals and get an amazing payday, or even stay there and get an amazing payday. But I think he'll explore his options before he would go back to the Cardinals. So yeah, I got Will Fuller going to the Colts. Fuller's an elite deep threat, and just have the burners just run past anyone on that field. There's not many people can keep up with him, and the Colts could use him as a slot receiver, so like he can run past the linebackers, and they kind of be out there and be successful. I think, and I think a 1-year, $5 million is a good contract for him, as he really hasn't proven himself. And I think he's willing to take a lower contract for a contending team. And I think the Colts are obviously a contending team with their amazing defense. It's sort of a weird trade. I think Trey Waynes to Cincinnati for Charles Leno from Chicago, who is a tackle. But Bears are just in desperate need for a corner, so they can just somewhat be successful in the secondary, and Waynes could solve that problem because he can be very successful in the slot if you give him the right scheme with speed and to just shut down the faster receivers that are out there on the field, which each time kind of has a deep threat. And I think Trey Waynes could emerge as a top 20 corner in the league if he would go to the Bears, but the Bengals just hasn't worked out for him, and I think he's just trying to move on from there. Matt Eli Apple going back to the Bengals. Apple has found success in the Bengals scheme, so I think he resigns. And the Bengals kind of has a sort of appreciation for the Bengals as he's a shutdown corner, especially in the slot position for the Bengals. So I think a 3-year $20 is a fair deal for Apple and his team. I think he just needs to show his appreciation as the Bengals were willing to give him a shot when really no other team would. This is my second to last one here, but I think Jimmy Garoppolo for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson from New Orleans. Jimmy G just needs a new team so he can be successful on, and I think the Saints could keep him for this first contract because it is below average salary compared to the rest of his position, and he's kind of got a contract a while ago, so when he wasn't one of the best QBs, so the Saints just kind of need him, and he's an elite passer and can really lead that team maybe back to the playoffs. Last one here, I got Aaron Rodgers for Ryan Tannehill, Jayon Brown, Jeffrey Simmons, and Zach Cunningham. The Packers need to get rid of Rodgers, as he could just go anywhere now because the draft really hasn't happened, and teams are just willing to bite the bullet to get a great QB, and I think the Titans are that team that will end up biting the bullet. But another possible trade scenario is probably like Marcus Mariota to the Steelers or Mariota to the Bears or just any of those types of QB needy teams. But that is actually going to conclude it, so maybe like, subscribe, comment, or something. But thanks for watching. See ya.